Two people are found shot to death inside their Columbus home. Police say the killer is the woman's ex-husband, arrested days later in Illinois after investigators tracked a vehicle linked to him. He's already waived extradition. So the real question isn't how he gets back to Ohio, it's whether investigators can turn suspicion into proof. Because in a modern murder case, the verdict doesn't rest on one clue. It rests on whether everything lines up. Now the fact. On December 30th, Columbus police responded to a welfare check after a local dentist and his wife failed to show up for work or respond to messages. Inside the home, both adults are found shot. Their two young children are alive. Police get busy collecting surveillance footage. One video shows a hooded individual walking near the home during that window. Other cameras capture a vehicle entering the area shortly before and leaving shortly after. Investigators connect that vehicle to the woman's ex-husband, a vascular surgeon. Days later, the same vehicle is located in Illinois, where he's arrested. On Monday, he appears in court, waives extradition, and will be returned to Ohio. Charges are upgraded to aggravated murder, which means the logistics are over and the evidence is about to matter. The prosecutor's theory starts with timing. A vehicle linked to the suspect appears near the home during the narrow window. A hooded figure appears nearby. The vehicle later turns up out of state. But to survive trial, that theory needs reinforcement. Investigators will examine the vehicle for stored data, GPS history, navigation input, Bluetooth pairings, and ignition timing. They'll reconstruct routes using traffic cameras and license plate readers. They'll analyze phones, computers, cloud accounts, and location data for searches, messages, and movement patterns. And they'll look for physical corroboration, firearms evidence, residue, clothing, or items tying the suspect to the scene. If these strands align, the case tightens quickly. The defense doesn't need an alternate suspect. They need gaps. A vehicle near a crime scene is not proof of a driver. A driver is not proof of a shooter. And proximity is not proof of presence inside that home. If vehicle data is incomplete or ambiguous, the prosecution is left asking jurors to assume. If route cameras or license plate readers fail to show consistent travel, uncertainty creeps in. If electronic devices show no planning searches, no location confirmation, no digital trail tying him to the scene at the critical time, that absence matters. Modern juries expect digital footprints. When they don't exist, defense lawyers ask why. Motive evidence matters too, but only if it's concrete. What did friends, family, or co-workers actually observe before the crime? Obsession? Fixation? Threats? Or only interpretations formed after the fact? Now, the cross-examination. If this case went to a jury, everything would turn on these questions. What proves he was driving the vehicle? What proves that hooded figure is him? What places him inside the house? And what does the vehicle and route data confirm? And where is it silent? And what does the digital evidence show that assumptions cannot replace? When conclusions rely on stacked inferences, reasonable doubt forms quietly, methodically. Let's turn to the law. At trial, the state carries the full burden. Prosecutors must prove identity, intent, and causation beyond a reasonable doubt. Circumstantial evidence is allowed, but Ohio law requires that the inferences drawn from it must be reasonable, consistent, and not speculative. Jurors are not permitted to stack assumptions on top of other assumptions to reach guilt. And when multiple reasonable explanations remain, the law requires acquittal. That's the legal lens the evidence will be judged through. And now, my ruling. The state will get him back to Ohio, that's settled. But this case won't be decided by extradition or headlines. It will be decided by whether investigators can build a continuous evidentiary chain. Vehicle data, route data, digital forensics, physical evidence, and corroborated behavior without gaps. If those pieces hook together, the case becomes formidable. If they don't, the defense has room to move. That's the real fight here, and that's the one worth watching. Thanks for watching. If you found this breakdown helpful, hit the like and subscribe. It really does help the channel grow. And always remember, the truth matters, and so does reasonable doubt. See you in the next case.